Well, guys, we are back to the next episode of the Liberal Asshole Show. As it seems like right now we have like a trend now. We've been doing an episode like every 2 weeks, so I think we might be starting to do that for a while now. So, we're on to our today's topics, and this time Harry and Vlog picked them, so I'll let Vlog point them out for us to talk about. So, what were they again?
All right, our first topic is how to play politics and force the GOP to bend the knee a la FDR. The COVID-19 vaccine, the conspiracy that Krystal and Kyle were secretly fucking, the housing crisis in America and how neoliberalism failed in housing, responding to TJ on Force the Vote, and FDR, progressive Democrats can win, and debunk claim USA is too racist for us to win.
Alright, so let's get into it, shall we? Starting off with how to play politics and force the GOP, and also, not just them, the neoliberal Democrats too. They need to bend the knee too. Oh boy.
Yep.
This is what they don't seem to understand. The Republicans are going to be very difficult to bend the knee to. We need to focus probably more on the neoliberal Democrat. What?
I know. I mean, it depends. Like, if you take over the party, then it's really easy to make the GOP or conservatives in general like bend the knee on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be easier to probably do the neoliberals. So yeah. So it's like all these people need a history lesson. Oh my god, this is getting so annoying thinking about it. So, like, the last several decades, the Democrats have gone more right-wing and catered to the Republicans over and over and over again, letting them get anything they want. Meanwhile, the Republicans are being obstructionists as always and always getting what they want as the Democrats keep caving to them. This is what the Democrats need to do, of course. They need to follow the way of FDR and LBJ. You don't bend the knee to them. You make them bend the knee to you. You force them to do what you want, and if they don't, we get rid of them. Simple as that. That's how FDR
primary them and pile their opponent with so much cash that they're overwhelmed.
That's how LBJ got past the Civil Rights Act. Yep. That FDR did this. Remember when he threatened to expand the Supreme Court? All the Supreme Court judges that voted against his New Deal policies, all of a sudden they flipped a lot on all of them to prevent that from happening. You don't cave to these people. You make them cave to you. That's how we get what we want. Like, it shouldn't be that hard to explain. But no, of course, you gotta do what they want. And also, vote blue no matter what. That's another thing, too. You gotta pressure them with your vote, too. If you're going to just vote for them no matter what, then they're not going to do what you want because what's to worry about? You're just going to vote for them no matter what. Jesus fucking Christ. Anything you two need to say about it?
Well, I'm going to say seriously that when it comes to the Republican Party, of course, the GOP, the joke is that their motto is not grand old party, it's gaslight, obstruct, project. But when it comes to them, there's basically two groups. There's going to be the ones that you're going to be able to grab on some issues, and then there's the ones that are too far gone.
Yeah.
And so if you can get at least the guys who are TFG to at least pretend that they care, then you've won.
Yeah. Then
even if they don't care, even though they don't actually care. Like Tucker Carlson, he claims to be for the little guy and oppose the big tech and all that. But really, whatever term he uses with big business and all that, it's really just an anti-Semitic dog whistle, and he doesn't actually care because he's a lot of the time falling in line with Trump anyway. Though he did call him out on a couple of foreign policy things. I mean, it's very hard to establish a white ethno-state in World War III.
As you were continuing to say, or do you want to pass off to Harry?
You got anything else you want to add, Harry?
Vlog, I agree with you. But obviously, for me, though, the fact that Tucker agrees with us on some economic policies and on a non-interventionist foreign policy, that's a good thing. That he agrees with us, even if he doesn't mean it, doesn't really matter because at least he says he agrees with us. But like, which is kind of the point with like conservative and GOP politicians that in European countries and Australia and like anywhere else basically, like those countries are further left in America, and proof is that their politicians, they're center right at most, and they say they support universal health care and progressive policies, while like Republicans here in the United States, they say they don't. And basically, the only way to make the GOP here in America say they support Medicare for all and progressive policies in the New Deal is by obviously like taking over the Democratic Party successfully and like running against them in elections and telling voters that these people are going to get rid of programs that help you if you don't vote for us. And by doing that, you basically force them to say, "Oh no, I support the Medicare for all, etc." Because like they want to get reelected, obviously. So they're going to say publicly, "Oh, we're against Medicare for all or progressive policies or the New Deal," because they know they're going to fucking lose. So that's how you make them bend the knee. What do you think about it?
Or you bait them into saying something beyond stupid.
Yeah.
Who was it? There's one of the
Todd Aiken, maybe you're thinking of?
Might be. Who's just boom, 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 boom. He's able to time and time again make Republican politicians say stupid things, bait them into saying stupid things, or coming out and saying things that aren't popular.
But Vlog, if it's a legitimate rape, the female body could shut the whole thing down, remember? That was so funny.
Oh my god, I can't believe he... No, I can't believe he said that a sexist shit like him would say
And he lost the election from that. That was awesome.
That was epic. That was epic.
Had like a 20-point lead and then lost by like 10.
Yeah,
Yep, we gotta bait them to say stupid
more
things.
recent one. Who was it? I think it might have actually been Nina Turner who said it. Who was actually able to bait a couple of politicians on the campaign trail at one point to say something in credit to say they oppose Medicare for all, Green New Deal, and all those things, and make themselves look like absolute morons.
Yeah, which is why like it's the best. Which is why our case is pretty good at making conservative politicians eventually one day in the future, say they support like Medicare for all, which means we fucking won, because like then it'd be easier to, pass these progressive policies. Unlike now, where we have an openly hostile GOP that says they're against it.
And not only that, too, a Democratic Party's against us too, so we got to scare them into supporting us as well.
Yep, but they're the ones we can focus on, because they're the ones we can get. Half the Republicans you're not going to get no matter what you do.
And the funny thing is, the majority of Democrats already agree with us, remember?
Mm-hmm. Majority of Democrats, majority of independents, and between a plurality and majority of Republicans.
Yeah. Ain't that... Shouldn't be that hard, you just gotta try. But of course, we know damn well that Democrats always want to lose on purpose, remember?
They're alt-right enablers. What do you expect? Some of the biggest alt-right enablers, too.
Yep. So I think we've beaten that topic. That definitely unless you want to keep talking about, or do you want to move on to the next one?
Got anything to add, Harry?
I also want to add one more thing, that like when you run for office, you should, even if you're president, you should always twist arms, meaning if you're president, you should always call in like corporate Democrats and conservative Democrats to saying, listen, if you don't vote for my progressive agenda, I'm gonna
primary
as the head of the party. As the head of the party, I'm gonna not only primary you, but I'm also gonna go to your state and talk to voters in your state and tell them that you basically suck balls and that I'm gonna tell them who to vote for against you. And as the head of the party, meaning the head of the DNC, you have access to all the funding, so you're gonna give their primary opponents a lot of fucking money so they can actually have a chance of winning.
Just like what Kyle said.
Which is how you fucking scare them to actually voting for progressive policies, even if they don't support them, because they care about the careers at the end of the day. So that's how you make them.
That's careerists for you.
Oh yeah, and that's how. And honestly, I don't care if they're careerists or corporate Democrats or centrists or conservatives, as long as they vote the right way. So and that's how you fucking scare them to do it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on to the next topic. What do you want to talk about?
The COVID-19 vaccine.
So
this is one I want to talk about.
There's
actually a few things I want to talk about in regards to this.
Well,
first off,
go on.
What?
Go on.
First off, what we've got several different variations coming in. We've got like 4 or 5 of them, all with different versions, and generally high effectiveness. A couple of the new strains have given a couple of the newer ones a little bit of trouble, but there seems to be one that is now being made to counter the UK, South African, Californian, etc. All the new strains that are coming out that are even more infectious, like the 70% more infectious UK variant, the 3 times more infectious South African variant, and the Californian one, which is like somewhere in between. So we've got Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and a few others. I've also noticed, though, that rich countries seem to be hoarding the vaccines, which is not right. It really isn't. Like, Australia's got enough to vaccinate every single person across the 3 that we've secured. Vaccinate every single person 3 times over.
Yeah, if you got more than enough, trade it out.
Yeah.
Gotta get it out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Also, we gotta make sure that the poorer countries get them as well, because if they don't, you're not gonna say goodbye to COVID. They're still gonna be around. You're still gonna have outbreaks.
Yeah.
Especially if you combine that with morons with pro-disease morons. I refuse to call them anti-vaxxers. They're pro-disease, who love spreading disease around because they think that the vaccines have become a globalist agenda.
Yep.
And yes, they're triple
fucking idiot.
around that.
Fucking idiots.
Semitic as hell.
Did you see Mike cover it recently? It was so funny listening to those idiots. And sad at the same time.
It's really sad.
You're sheeple if you get vaccinated and all that crap, they said.
The people who aren't getting the vaccines are the ones who are sheep.
Yeah.
So anything you want to say about it, Harry?
I just want to say that if it's true that there are some first world countries that have more vaccines that they need, like maybe we could work with the United Nations on an international solution that like where richer countries give poorer countries vaccines so we control COVID. That would be a good idea if someone did that. And also I want to say that in America, like
you never get rid of it in America.
I know it's not that.
Too many idiots, and you got too many people who will refuse to take it to get herd immunity.
No, it's not that I'm a huge proponent of herd immunity. It's that in America, in my opinion, the best way to get it is if you actually let the state governments run the system, because like it's proven that if you outsource it to like Walgreens or Walmart or some shit, like it doesn't work. Because like recently West Virginia tried it, like they actually said no to Walgreens and they do it themselves. Like the state government actually runs it and it fucking works. It's faster and easier to distribute the vaccine there. So yeah, I don't know if you heard about it recently. There was a Cal did a video where he said that West Virginia actually like ran the program itself as opposed to like outsourcing it to like corporations.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, and it worked better than outsourcing it, which proves that like obviously sometimes you gotta let the government like run these things because it does it better than the private sector. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the list of reported cases by country, and I'm looking at like India, Colombia, Ukraine, places like that are really going to have trouble getting enough doses to vaccinate very many people. They're going to be really, really, really hard for that. Also,
wait, Vlog, I have a question.
They're going to be likely hotspots for a while.
Wait, Vlog, I have a question. Why do you think like America will never like completely get rid of COVID? Like, I mean, it's kind of
too many stupid people who will refuse to get vaccinated.
Well, yeah, that's true that we have really dumb people, but also it's also true that America's still hasn't had like an effective like federal solution like as well because so
That
maybe
won't
eventually.
help. That's not going to help either. That'll make things worse. That'll just make the situation even worse than it already is. And yeah, it's definitely those two combined. Is why I would say that the US will never truly get rid of COVID.
So anything else you all want to say about this?
Oh, I actually just remembered something. World. I'll have to look it up later. There's something I wanted to. I could look and find. I just want to point out that Australia is pretty close to back to normal. After normal, we've got less than 30,000 cases and a population of 25 million.
Wow.
And we're pretty close back to normal. I'm not even kidding you. If we had even 1/1000th the number of cases that the US is getting a day, whatever part of the country would be having that would be in lockdown. I know this because just a few cases locked down Western Australia last week. New South Wales, Queensland, and South Australia have all had lockdowns in the last few months due to far smaller clusters, just to stop them so they don't become a massive problem. Oh, also, COVID-related, the second wave in Australia should have warned the rest of the world as to how big their second waves were going to be.
Well,
we went from 7,500 cases to nearly 30,000 in about 3 or 4 months.
Silly Australian, it's not real though, remember?
These are the same morons who think that the only country there is in the world is America and our enemies.
Just like Silly World, Trump's still president, remember?
Even though Biden's been president for 2 weeks, and Trump might still be banned from holding office.
Oh God, conservatives are so stupid.
And they also believe in like alien space lasers and shit. Yeah.
Oh God, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make fun of her in the future.
Yeah.
That bitch is insane.
Yeah, she is. She's a special brand of insane.
So y'all want to still talk about the COVID crap?
I think we might have beaten that to death.
And I hear myself echoing somewhere.
Sorry?
I hear myself echoing. That you, Vlog?
Might be, I don't know. Yeah, I think it probably is.
Wow.
But there's nothing I can do.
No headphones.
Not at this stage.
Alright.
It's just a provisional setup at the moment.
Alright. So I guess it's time to talk about the Kyle and Krystal shipping.
Yes.
Which I've insisted for like a year plus now. It's so obvious they're fucking. Come on.
Crystal ball dating, or am I just so horny that I think everyone is fucking? That was TJ on the 25th of January.
TJ Kirk.
Man, I would make fun. I would make fun of a joke about that, but I have to wait till later when we talk about TJ. But yeah, what do you all think about it? It's obvious they are. Come on.
I reckon there's something going on between them. I mean, yeah, Krystal's married, but Kyle says he's got a girlfriend. I kind of don't believe it until I saw Krystal, and then I'm like, what if it's Krystal that's his girlfriend secretly?
What the?
I mean, it would make sense. And that has happened a few times with other groups. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Wait, Vlog, I thought Kyle was single. Like, what the?
No, he said years ago he had someone.
A couple of secular talking smacks that he has a girlfriend.
He said
that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he said that. Then I didn't hear him. I didn't hear him.
Yeah, that was several years ago, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a few years ago, but we still have. I said, Yeah, so I think that's interesting.
It's definitely funny.
Yeah.
We always gotta
well.
We gotta ship them like we ship them on Pokemon, remember?
Yes. Oh, that should be a future topic. That should so be a future topic.
What?
Who our major ships are in Pokemon.
So, Harry, anything you gotta say about this topic?
I mean, I don't know. First off, I thought Kyle was single, and also, honestly, I feel like even though she's married, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, if she was like cheating on her husband with Kyle. Yeah.
Maybe it's all consensual too, remember?
Potentially, she can be in an open relationship.
Wait, Timbo, not everyone's polyamorous like yourself.
Yep.
Not everyone's.
Oh, God, she's quite a bit older than Kyle.
10 years almost.
No, actually, she's only 7 years older than Kyle, so they're closer than us.
Kyle's 33.
And she's almost 40.
Has had his birthday, and Krystal Ball will be 40 this year.
Well, yeah, she has 3 kids, so that kind of makes sense.
So, yeah. I think it's an interesting idea. I reckon, yeah, there's something going on. There's
I'm not really
and you know what else too? In the end, if they are indeed together, and as long as it's consenting adults, I don't give a shit, and neither should anyone else. Pretty much.
Why?
Shouldn't be shaming them or anything. Let live. But you know the right would have an epic meltdown over it, and too bad.
Yeah.
It's so funny that everyone knows that shipping is going to be happening.
Yeah.
Probably messing around during Krystal and Kyle's off videos, remember? Just like they just had Noam Chomsky on recently, if you didn't know they had.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. That would be. Woo!
So
he got to speak to his hero.
So Harry, you need to watch it and let us know about it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean about them interviewing Noam Chomsky?
Yeah, and other topics too, since you're watching them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we've beaten that to death, and now on to the next topic. What do you all want to talk about?
The housing crisis in America and how neoliberalism fails in housing.
All right, so what do you all want? What?
Wait, can we watch a video on this topic? Because when I recommended it, I recommended also a video. So.
Sure.
What's the link?
Wait, vlog. Do you see the link in the text channel or?
Which one? There's 6 channels.
What? Where are we?
The episode 14 ideas, Timbo.
I cleared a lot out, unfortunately. You're going to have to go and find it because I cleared most of that stuff out. Oh, I know. Hang on. Do I have...
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even if you did, I could just post it again.
Yeah, post it
Yeah,
again.
post it again.
Yeah, gotta find the video.
Maybe you need to post all the videos of the topics of today. That probably got deleted.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Timbo, the one I remember was the one I wanted to talk about, which was the Guerrilla Institute video on housing, which which perfectly explains how public housing works and how neoliberalism has failed, like as always.
Gravel Institute. Let's see.
Gravel
Oh, here we go. How socialists solve the housing crisis.
That one, yes.
Let me go turn on ad blocker though.
That one.
I more use ad blocker on my laptop to save my phone data.
And there's the video if you all want to check it. All right, so let's get the video underway. Let me play it. If y'all can hear it.
American housing is in crisis. Right now, up to 12 million Americans are behind an average of $5,800 on rent and risk eviction. With eviction moratorium soon to expire, we're facing an unprecedented wave of evictions and foreclosures that will crash straight into millions of struggling families across the country. But the truth is, this crisis didn't begin with the pandemic. In fact, housing has been in crisis for a very long time. Even before the pandemic, in places like New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco, median rents for even one-bedroom apartments could approach $2,500 a month or more. About a third of people in Los Angeles spend a majority of their income on housing. In New York City, about 20% of all renters pay most of their income to their landlord. And in my district, Astoria, about a quarter of residents have to spend most of their paycheck on rent. And the crisis isn't just in big cities. In 95% of all U.S. counties, workers making the minimum don't make enough to afford a one-bedroom rental on their own.
Matter of fact, we actually talked about that last time when we talked about the minimum wage, remember?
Yeah, we did.
And that would and that's one thing that would help too to help solve this. Raise the minimum wage, you idiots! Jesus Christ.
The Harvard Center for Housing Studies warns of a new normal for housing in the United States, in which nearly half of all renter households spend almost a third of their income on rent. That's why even before the fallout from the coronavirus started to hit, more than 500,000 Americans nationwide were already homeless, millions more on the brink of losing their housing, and countless families struggling every month to make ends meet. At the root of all of this suffering is the fact that in this country, housing is treated as a commodity, not a right. It's a consumer product, just like clothes or cars that private businesses can sell on the market to make a profit. And if someone isn't able to pay, either because their landlord raised their rent or because they can't work for one reason or another, they're not able to stay in their homes. If they're lucky, they can live with friends or family, or maybe in transitional housing for a bit. But for a lot of people, they have nowhere else to go, and they end up sleeping on the streets. In December 2019, the number of people sleeping in homeless shelters in New York reached 19,000 people, an all-time high. 100,000 New York City students are homeless. That's more than 10% of the entire student population. Why do so many people end up homeless? It's not because there aren't enough homes to go around. There are plenty of empty homes. No, it's because housing people is not the primary goal of developers or landlords. Their goal, simply put, is to make a profit.
No shit! Capitalism!
This is what capitalism sucks.
Yep!
Than decent homes for the poor. This gives us a big shortage of homes for
gentrification as well.
For every 100 households that are extremely low income, there are only 36 affordable and available homes. As a result, we have plenty of housing for the rich, but poor and working class people don't have nearly enough on the market. So we have people scrounging to make ends meet or sleeping on the streets right below luxury condos and uninhabited apartments. This is a terrible way to organize a housing market. It might be profitable for landlords and developers, but it's not efficient or beneficial for the rest of society. In fact, housing doesn't have to be seen as a market at all. In other countries, housing is considered a fundamental right, like education or healthcare. That means the government goes to significant lengths to guarantee everyone has a home, and the market plays a much smaller role in the construction and distribution of housing. So let's hop across the pond and about 100 years back in time to take a look at just one example of how an alternative housing model got started in beautiful red Vienna. At the end of the First World War, the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed, leaving behind a number of successor states, including modern-day Austria, home to the former imperial capital of Vienna, the fifth largest city in the world. Despite being the seat of an empire, the chaos of the war and decades of neglect had left the working class of Vienna in desperate circumstances. Inflation was rampant, jobs were scarce, social services were non-existent, and hundreds of thousands of people were crammed into decaying tenements where overcrowding, disease, and violence were rampant. So it's no surprise that in 1919, at the first elections ever held in Austria where all adult citizens could vote, the Social Democratic Party swept into power at the municipal level on the promise of dramatic social and economic reform. And they delivered. The new government of Vienna implemented a huge range of services, including public health care and public child care. They built high-quality hospitals, schools, and recreation.
God damn, don't these sound lovely?
The crowning achievement was an ambitious program of social housing, what Americans call public housing, that began in 1923 and saw 60,000 new apartments constructed in the first year of its existence, built by the government and financed by taxes on the rich. But these weren't the kinds of apartments you might picture when you think of public housing in the United States. Drab high-rises plagued by chronic neglect and underinvestment. Residents could enjoy leafy courtyards, wide-open spaces, and plenty of
it looks beautiful.
They had shared laundries, state-of-the-art kitchens, food co-ops, bathhouses, pharmacies, lecture halls, schools, and swimming pools. These apartments were designed to be both beautiful to look at and beautiful to live in, fostering a sense of shared community among the people who lived there. And the best part was that because the city didn't have to worry about making a profit, just about paying off their maintenance costs, these homes were both much nicer and much cheaper than what...
And may I also add, too, remember, Austria got completely wrecked in World War I, and they did all that after suffering from World War I. If they could do that...
Austria was beaten up real bad. Hungary was almost completely, like, they had almost all their land taken at one point. It looked like, I think it was Romania was going to rampage all the way through Hungary and completely take them out.
But
they wouldn't have any land left.
But if a former empire that got completely destroyed by World War I could do all this, don't give me an excuse that, America, the #1 country in the world, can't do this. We can. We could do even better than them. We just gotta try. Which have to have the political will to do it.
What workers had previously known. In 1926, the average rent in Viennese social housing was about just 4% of a monthly wage. The first 15 years after Austrian independence saw its capital transform from a symbol of urban blight into a beacon of socialist governance. It became known as Red Vienna, after the official color of the socialists who had pioneered these changes. And even though Red Vienna fell in 1934 when the country was seized by fascists, who did what they could to roll back social housing, that commitment to good, cheap housing remained after the Second World War. Today, an astonishing 62% of all city residents live in social housing, with the average monthly rent falling somewhere between $400 and $600 a month, with subsidies for lower-income tenants.
Nice.
That is a fraction of what people in America pay. Unlike in the United States, where public housing is treated as a worst-case way to house the very poor, Vienna's social housing residents are extremely diverse. Everyone except the top fifth of the population is eligible to live in social housing. This means there's broad appeal across many segments of society, which creates the foundation for its political popularity. That is how the majority of people in Vienna enjoy something that's considered almost utopian here in New York. Affordable housing that isn't just cheap, but desirable. Housing that isn't just four walls and a roof, but a real home, with a sense of stability, safety, and community built in. Now, of course, this is only one example of an alternative framework for housing, and Vienna has not fully removed housing from the domain of the market. Residents still pay part of their earnings in rent to cover operational costs, and a sizable chunk of the population lives in private housing. But it's an actually existing alternative that shows us what a step toward a better world could look like. If we want to end the housing crisis, the solution has to be moving toward the full decommodification of housing. In other words, moving away from the status quo, in which most people access housing by purchasing it on the market, and toward a future where we guarantee high-quality housing to all as a human right. So how can we do it? We can start by making sure people who access housing on the private market have ironclad protections against abuse and exploitation. But to go further toward the Vienna model, we'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us. And we know how we'll get there, through a movement of the multiracial working class organizing for the better world we know is possible.
About fucking
and we've
time,
already begun.
Definitely.
I'm Ramdani, Assemblyman for New York's 36th Assembly District in Astoria, Queens, for the Grabel Institute.
I don't know, man. That sounded very too socialist for me. And not only that, when you said multiracial, I got very nervous and scared thinking about it.
Of course, the stupid South are going to oppose it because they're stupid. A lot of them are stupid and racist.
I mean, of course.
It's in the book.
that was a
by the way, quite a few of the people down south would be included in that category of too far gone.
that was a funny impersonation. That was a great video. Yep.
That was.
Decommodify housing would definitely help that.
Oh, yes.
So anything you two have to say about this?
Should apply it to other countries as well. I think Australia could do with some of that as well. Yeah. It's not as bad as in the US. We're actually a bit more well, we handled the coronavirus pandemic a lot better. 8th best in the world, in fact.
Silly Australian? We're number one. We're America. Remember, we gotta be number one in everything, even if it's bad.
Yeah, nah, you're fourth from the bottom.
Oh.
I think the number one worst is, I think, Brazil, if I remember correctly.
Hey, how thin? Far right wingers ruling your countries. No surprise.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. So, Harry, anything to say?
I just want to say that this video proves why housing needs to be something that the government has more control over as opposed to private sector. Because as he said, we have like so much fucking housing for people, yet we have homeless people, which proves that the profit motive doesn't fucking work in housing. So that's why you gotta like let the government take care of that. And also, it also proves that neoliberal policies like over the last 3 years have failed in housing and shit. So, and also that obviously conservatives and libertarians who keep saying that
Libertarians.
That housing is better left to the market. Well, that's fucking bullshit because we have proof that we have so many empty housing apartments and still have homeless people under a private market. So it's better to, and also it fucking works if you leave it to the government. So yeah.
But Harry, you gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Simple as that.
What bootstraps? A lot of poor people can't afford bootstraps, you GOP morons.
Very funny, Timbo.
People die.
Very funny, Timbo. And yes, you're Timbo.
So, anything else left to say before we move on to the next topic?
I don't think there really is. You got anything else to say, Harry?
That's pretty much it. Thank you.
My right wing impersonations are always fantastic, aren't they? Although
that you can tell.
Okay. But unfortunately, it's sad because those are actual real things people would say. Remember?
Actual things morons would say.
So, anyways, on to the next topic. Are we gonna make fun of TJ now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
this is a bit of an older one.
Can I talk about?
It started with Kyle Kulinski, a Secular Talk, retweeting Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez about forcing a vote on Medicare for all in a pandemic. So,
can I?
What do you want to say?
Vlog, when you're done, can I explain Force the Vote? Because, when you're done saying what you want to say, I guess, so.
Yeah, all right. So, first up, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez responding to Blake Morris, whoever that is. A few reasons. Sometimes it's to get members on the record so people can't make excuses later. Sometimes these votes create real political pressure that forces developments. And sometimes we vote for the historical record to let future generations know we did everything we could. So TJ responds to that, says, Kyle, come on, man. You know the context is vastly different. 1, we already know who the opponents of M4A are. 2, Force the Vote was just going to make progressives look like ineffectual losers, not pressure the establishment. And 3, fuck the historical record, ego shit.
And then his next tweet.
So next up on that one, in response to, up on the list, is Kyle responded to Kyle saying, clearly you haven't seen any of my segments on this because I contest every single point you made here. TJ responded, link them up. I'll watch them. I'm not a demagogue, so I'll actually keep an open mind. If you convince me, I'll admit it. But as it stands, I don't see how this helps a goddamn thing other than bolstering lefty egos. I think you're blowing smoke up your own ass on this one. Finally.
Oh, one more?
Yeah, there's 3. Then Raccoon Dog, replying to both of them, got in for a bit and said, you don't address the fact that they could lie on their formal vote too. The corporatists could plan who votes yes and who votes no for optics while ensuring it doesn't pass. TJ responds, this is a point that's not brought up enough. Corporatists who know M4A won't pass could really vote yes for progressive street cred. Shittiest litmus test ever. Why are so many lefties on board? Are they that desperate to just look like they're doing something? Lol.
Because we're fucking worried, that's why.
Now, before we get to the actual response to this, yo, TJ! Why do you still block me for, buddy? I've been following you for years. Why are you still blocking me for zero reason? So I couldn't take a look at these tweets and make fun of him for it. Why did you block me? That's the first thing I would say. So I have to have.
Why did you follow Steve Shives?
Why are you becoming Steve Shives? Is my question. Remember when you made fun of him years ago for this? Why are you doing it right to me?
At least we actually know why Steve Shives has block bots and all that now.
Oh, God.
And he's tended to cop a lot of abuse, and he doesn't want to deal with the trolls and the actual trolls and idiots, but also blocks a lot of proper criticism as well.
And didn't you say?
Also,
TJ blocked people for following Dusty or whatever before?
yes, I don't know if he's unblocked some people or what, but yeah. He did at one point. I don't know if he still does.
Hey, TJ, that's another thing. Remember when you made fun of Steve Shives for having a blockchain that would automatically block people for following you? Why are you doing that now right back to Dusty now, or other people? Hypocrite much. Hypocrite much.
Wow. Wait, Timbo, why did TJ Kirk block you again?
I have no idea why. I remember one day I was looking on his thing and I was blocked. I never even talked to him once on Twitter. So I have no idea why I'm blocked. It's just silly. Wow. And of course I can make fun of him for being a hypocrite as he accused Steve Shives of years ago. So now that we got that out of the way, how about we get to the topics in hand? Which I'm sure Harry wants to talk about since he didn't get to talk about Force the Vote last time a few weeks ago, remember?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
So do we want to respond to TJ's points?
Yep.
All right. So what were you want to say?
Wait, Vlog, do you want to say something first, or Vlog?
No, see what you've got to say in response.
All right. So first off, what TJ said, we already know the opponents of Medicare for All are. Yeah, us, the political junkies, yeah, we know, but a huge majority of Americans do not know that. And they need a vote to show them that. Come on. Jesus Christ, this is a common tactic I mentioned before when we talked about this. It's a common tactic that both Republicans and Democrats done. They'll put things up to vote just to see what people vote for, and then they use them to run against them in primaries. Like, why is all of a sudden a big deal now? I don't get it. So, Harry, anything you want to say about this?
Yeah, I just want to say that, obviously, I do like TJ Kirk. He's a fellow progressive, and I agree with him on policies, but, he made a video, mocking Force the Vote and Jimmy Dore, and that's really fucking stupid, because it's not about Jimmy Dore, it's about the fucking movement. So, we shouldn't be talking about Jimmy Dore. And second of all, when he says that, corporate Democrats could easily lie about it and vote anyway, knowing that it's not going to pass. Well, guess what? We shouldn't fucking care, because as long as they vote the right way, I don't give a shit if they're corporate Democrats or conservatives or centrists. Because and plus, you get to hold it over their heads in the future. So when he says that it's a bad idea, it's not, because it's a way to scare the establishment, and obviously even Nancy Pelosi. Here's another point. If the establishment didn't give a shit, why isn't Nancy Pelosi pushing for it in the House? Maybe it's because she doesn't want to expose her fellow corporate Democrats, or maybe that's what she doesn't want to make them actually take a stance for once in their fucking lives, because they're old pussies, obviously, and they don't stand for anything. So, and if you bring it up for a vote, you're actually gonna make people for once actually stand for something or stand against something. So. And that's a good thing, because whenever you vote, always voting is a good thing, no matter what. Voting on policies in Congress, because you get to promote an agenda. So
yeah, and your point about it's good if they vote for it anyway. Their counter would be if they vote for it, how can you prove to people that they're not for Medicare for All if they vote for it? There's, as I point out in our last video about it, there's no way they can get around it. There are numerous other times where they were against Medicare for All, and we can expose them on that. There's literally no way they can get around this. They're fucked.
No, Timbo, I agree. Even if a corporate Democrat votes for Medicare for All, they vote yes on it. You can obviously, if you run against them, you can obviously expose them because they said in older videos that they're against it. So you can obviously use that to expose them in a primary.
And likewise, Mike covered, I can't remember his name. He was a congressman in Nevada. He ran in 2016 on supporting Medicare for all. And then as soon as he got in, he was instantly against it and all that. So you can easily expose them. It's not that hard. So is Vlog you were trying to say?
What?
What were you going to say?
Not really much.
All right, so...
I'm just listening in, really.
All right, so the next topic. Force the vote is just going to make progressives look like ineffectual losers, not pressure establishment. Nope! The exact opposite would happen, because even if it fails, we can use the record against them. Come on, dude. You should be able to see this. Jesus fucking Christ. Anything you need to say? Because here's the thing. The majority, I think it was like 80% of Democrats are for Medicare for all. Like 60, 70% or whatever of independents are for it. Even some polls, the majority of Republicans are for it.
Yeah.
That's why I said at least a plurality, if not a majority.
Yeah. So the majority of Americans are on forced AOC's side in this discussion. So if she goes up against Pelosi and all them about force the vote, she and them would lose because they would be against the American people and their polls would tank, and then we could use it to primary them. So no, it's the exact opposite. Jesus fucking Christ. To not do it would be more, I would say, would be more likely to be ineffectual losers. So what do you two have to say?
I agree with you on that.
Harry?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, obviously, TJ, when he says that that would make us look like losers, he's obviously wrong, because when you actually put up any progressive legislation for a vote, it does, like, when it comes to force the vote, the whole point wasn't to pass it. It was to fucking expose who's against it, and if you get some corporate Democrats to vote for it, then you can actually, like, hold it over their heads, like, in future primaries. And also, like, as I said, like, TJ, he was fucking, like, I don't know, he was fucking yelling and swearing about, like, Jimmy Dore. Like, the whole point is...
They're getting Jimmy Dore notification every 5 seconds, which is understandable when it's going on for hours and hours.
No, Vlog, yeah, but people only mention Jimmy Dore because he came out with the idea. But the point is, it's not about Jimmy Dore. It's about, like, the fucking movement and the idea. And honestly, TJ is just creating unnecessary, like, progressive infighting. So he's wrong there. Like, it's about the idea, not Jimmy Dore. That's the point. Like,
yeah, and that's another thing people that are against force to vote always keep bringing up. Dore. Fuck him. He's not important to the force the vote thing. Focus on that instead, not the messenger, basically. Jeez. So anything? Yeah. So what else do you want to talk about? Oh, about fuck the historical record ego shit. No.
No, it's not about egos. Like, he doesn't understand this. Like, it's about giving people healthcare, not about our fucking egos. Like what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense. Like,
yeah, it's such I'm such an ego trip, guys. To get Medicare for all and to punish Republicans and corporate Democrats to be against it. I have such a big ego, guys.
Yeah.
I get such a thrill. Well, I do get a thrill out of it. But it's not the main focus. The main focus is to get them out and hopefully, although very unlikely, to make it pass and all that. Like, God, it shouldn't be that hard to understand. I don't know how anyone can... I don't understand how anyone could be opposed to this. But, of course, in my experience, most of the opposition to it is simply because of Dore, and that's pretty much it.
No, that's pretty much it. Like, the only reason people are against it is Jimmy Dore, which is fucking bullshit. Like, I mean, you don't have to like him to support his idea because it's fucking dumb. Like, yeah. It really is.
Like, we, on the show, do not like Biden, as everyone knows. But if he does something right or supports something right, guess what? We're going to give him credit for that. Like, it's not that hard. You can point out when someone's right if they just happen to be right. It ain't that fucking hard. You need to put your ironically, your ego and your hatred to the side for once.
No, yeah, I agree. And TJ needs to stop talking about Jimmy Dore and only focus on hashtag force the vote, which is what this is about. So
he's probably
just overall.
Maybe Maybe he's too busy sucking up the Vosh, remember? Since we know how much of a hate boner he has for Jimmy, remember?
Fuck.
Mr. Rage quits a video of Jimmy's in like 90 seconds or something like that. So, anything else y'all want to talk about this?
Wait, Vlad, so listening to us, do you now agree with us, or are you still not sure, or what do you think?
I lean more agree now. I'm not like hard agree, but I do agree to some degree.
So you lean agree with us then, right? I guess.
Yes,
Vlad?
I lean more agree with you guys now.
Yeah.
So-
wait, Tim. Timbo, can I say one more thing?
What?
About this?
What?
No, when it comes to force the vote, we also need to pressure progressive Democrats in Congress to actually vote as a voting bloc, because the reason they didn't do force the vote the first time was because they actually didn't talk to each other and they didn't unite and they didn't talk to each other as a voting bloc, and they didn't actually go to Nancy Pelosi and say, listen, Madam Speaker, listen, if you don't give us Medicare for all as a House floor vote, we're not going to vote for you. They didn't do that shit. Why? Because they're simply scared, and they didn't get enough pressure from their voters. So that's why it failed, unfortunately. My point is, they should vote as a voting bloc in the future, and not just
To be fair, there's also not enough of them at the moment to make a huge amount of pressure.
And that's why we gotta keep putting more progressives in too.
Yep. Once we get more of them in, definitely. Once it's pretty much 50-50, that's when they can start on the overthrow of the corporate structure.
Yeah.
And to put Democrats in a more socio-democratic direction.
And as you were saying, Harry,
I agree, but actually, there's about 10 to 15 real progressives in Congress who support Medicare for all, and this time around, because they had a slimmer majority in Congress, they could have actually gotten it if they wanted to, but unfortunately, they did not talk to each other. That's why it fucking failed, because they didn't get enough pressure from from the outside, from political activists. So when Jimmy says that, and others say that, Jimmy Dore and others say that they could have done it, they could have done it. It's just they kind of failed. Even Kyle says it, they failed to organize and talk to each other and vote as a voting bloc, So they actually they had the numbers, by the way. It just it was a fucking waste, in my opinion. They had the numbers.
but Harry, you're harassing them for pointing that out. Remember? And there actually have been people I've seen on Twitter that actually made that argument. You criticizing the squad and all them for not supporting Force the Vote. You're just harassing them. And honestly, even sadder too, I've actually seen a lot of people say that you're racist and sexist because most of the Force the Voters are cis white men and all that. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. I've dealt with it on Twitter. It's retarded.
Leave the playing of the identity politics to the conservatives.
Yeah,
that's what they do best.
Yep. So there's no reason to be against Force the Vote. You're just silly to be against it.
The anti-SJWs, so you can point out how hypocritical they are.
Yep. So anything else you all want to say on this topic? Or did we once again beat it to death? Alright, so off to the next topic then.
FDR, progressive Democrats can win, and debunk claim USA is too racist to win.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's you all, but I've noticed a lot of people, even among progressives, that we should not bother with getting. I think we were going to talk about this on another topic too, about how getting conservatives to become more progressive and all that. But we have to get some of them in order for us to win. That's not debatable. So we can't just rely on just Democratic voters or even the majority of independent voters. That's not going to be enough. You need to get some percentage of normally Republican voters to vote for progressives. So how do you do that? Well, as I said, go with Bernie's example. Focus on economic issues. Because guess what? That's why they like him. That's why he goes to very far right like West Virginia, and he gets applauses all the time he goes there.
Yeah.
And Jesus fucking Christ, it shouldn't be that hard. Not. So, and some people, I know it's a lot of it too. People I've seen say they will never, ever, ever, ever drop the social issues. They care about them so much that they'll be fucked over economically to protect them. True, but there's also many that would do the exact opposite. They'll ignore the social issues, which, by the way, a lot of the people at these rallies that don't agree with Bernie on that crap, they'll say that, but they'll support him for the economic issues. You gotta still try to get to these people.
Hell, there are certain economic things that socialists, the social democrats, and fascists do agree on, even if it is the fascists that have the caveat only for white people.
Yeah.
You still got to at least try, and that's why I've said before, focus more on the economic issues, because then I think we would have a better chance to win, and then when we get in, we can implement all the policies we want to do. It's not
Class over race.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not that hard. So anything you two need to say?
Just want to point out, Vorsh, I know you're not a race reductionist. Stop sounding like a race reductionist.
And Xander Hall and everyone else on the left, because that is the expression. That is the impression you're giving off.
Mm-hmm.
And don't
I'd rather be a class reductionist than a race reductionist.
And then like stop fucking demonizing us for maybe wanting to try and get maybe some conservatives to support us. We need some of those voters in order to get them. Yeah. And Xander Hall and all them too.
Who thinks that you should never, ever work with anyone on the right on anything ever?
Yeah, it's fucking pathetic. So, Harry, what do you have to say about this?
Basically that, obviously, I want to say that, obviously, to win elections, you need some conservative voters, conservative/Republican voters, and obviously, I just want to say historically, FDR, he's proved that if you run on progressive economic policies and actually deliver, like, basically people are going to re-elect you to obviously fucking die. Like, FDR was 4 times, and he died in office in his 4th term, and basically Republicans, they had a term limit, so they had to invent term limits constitutionally, so another progressive would not get reelected like 4 times in a row, so, which proves that if you actually enact policies like the New Deal and deliver on them and improve people's lives materially, you're actually going to vote for you every fucking time, despite it. Even if you have socially liberal beliefs and they're conservatives, it doesn't matter. They're still going to vote for you because you actually raise their wages, you give them health care, you give them a job, you give them all the material economic policies that benefit their lives. So this proves that you win every fucking time. So
and not only that too. He actually got the Republicans to become populist back then too, as well. Remember at the Bell show? Because not only did FDR did the right things, he scared the absolute shit out of Republicans to do the right things.
No shit. Tim, I just want to say, which proves that if you actually run progressive Democrats every time and take over the party, as a whole, eventually, this proves that you can move the Republican Party. Not to the left, you move them more to the center and make them an actual center-right party as opposed to far-right party. And you get them to publicly support Medicare for all, free college, a living wage, etc. Because they know if they don't fucking support it, they're going to fucking lose. So that's how you move the Republican Party to the left. By running against Democrats. That's how you move them. That's proven in other countries.
Let's send them to the right side of the political spectrum instead of them being off the right side.
So, Log, anything else you want to say on this?
Not really, just a bit one slight correction. At least we can start with that by use that and at least get the Republicans back on the political spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. You get them to become a center-right party again, just like in Germany or Australia or Canada. They're conservatives. They're actually center-right and not far-right like Republicans because they're left parties. They support progressive policies, and they know that if they don't support them, the conservatives, that is, they're going to fucking lose. So that's why they got to moderate their tone. So if eventually, the Republican Party needs to moderate its tone if they want to fucking win elections again, because the past 8 years they've lost presidential elections, popular vote. So
yeah.
So I'm kind of in the mood. Maybe you want to talk about one more thing.
Yeah.
What would you want to talk about then?
I got one. Maybe we could go over discuss for a bit 2024 Republican and Democrat primary lists. Who might be running in 2024?
Are you talking about? You're talking about the primaries for the president? You mean?
Yeah, possible contenders for 2024, I guess. Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that recently?
I think we already did that on an episode. Harry wasn't on though, so we wanted to get Harry's input.
All right, you want to talk about that, Harry?
You mean, I guess,
what do you
I think? Sorry?
Yeah, who do you think would run in 2024?
So basically, in the U.S., every 4 years, as everyone knows, there's a presidential election, and usually the opposition party like has many people running for president to decide who's gonna challenge the incumbent
Challenge the
president.
incumbent.
Yeah, exactly, incumbent president. So in this case, Biden's now president. So obviously, this time around, Republicans are gonna have to decide who they wanna put up against Biden. So
That's
the way I
remember
sorry?
too. Remember that's if he runs again, because that's not fully sure yet. Remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
if
oh,
Trump,
yeah, like
if Trump runs, he's going to have it. No, absolutely have it.
Yeah, if he does run, we definitely can't let him just get it easily. We have to primary him.
But if let's say he's banned from office or he's in jail, who steps up?
Oh, it's okay. So yeah, if Trump gets banned or not, if he doesn't get banned or not, I'm sure he will run again.
yeah.
And he will.
But who do you think would be other Republican challengers then?
Wait, Timbo. Actually, let's say let's say Trump doesn't run again in 2024. I feel like people like Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, even Nikki Haley, maybe possibly your governor too might run. I don't know. You
Oh fuck Hogan! He's a piece of goddamn shit. Why do you gotta remind me of him?
Because he's.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, because
I don't know how my fellow Marylanders like him so much. He's a piece of goddamn shit, and they disagree with him on everything. He has like a 70% approval still.
Wait, that's because he's a. That's because he's a GOP governor in a blue state. That's why, like, and they see him as a moderate Republican. That's why.
Even though he's not, though, that's the thing. He's not.
No, yeah, policy-wise, he's a corporate sellout, but compared to other Republicans, he's a like moderate. He's like a center-right Republican. So.
I'm a fellow Marylander. I beg to differ on that one. The worst things about him are only stopped because we have a Democratic supermajority in our House and Senate.
Alright.
Yeah, that's why he's not as like far right because he's in a blue state.
He is far right. He's just stopped.
He is far right, but he can't implement far right policies.
Yeah. But anyways, we're getting off topic. We need to focus on the other Republican challengers, or maybe the Democratic challengers too.
Yeah.
So
I think the Republican ones would be the most interesting. Because one I see will definitely run will be Mike Pence, the former VP. He will definitely run.
Oh, Mike Pence, he possibly will run. It's just that I feel like if like there's no, in my opinion, basically whoever is the most sycophantic that Trump is gonna get the nomination if Trump doesn't run. Like that's pretty much it in my opinion. Like, do you guys think?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I reckon when it comes to it, it's gonna be Cruz or Rubio versus the one or two that are going to be the most sycophantic. So that'd be like Pence, or maybe one of the others you mentioned.
Which is funny you mention that because they hate Pence now. Remember the insurrectionists wanted to hang him.
Yeah.
Give it 2 to 3 years. Give it 2 to 3 years. Yeah. Pence's image will be rehabilitated.
Yep. As always, just like give a few years and all of a sudden Democrats are like Trump now, remember?
Yeah, Timbo, also don't forget there's a chance your governor runs as well because he could say he's a Republican from a blue state and whatever. And
fuck him. Fuck him. Bad enough we gotta deal with him for another 2 years.
Now, I want to get your thoughts on, a lot of people have said that Tucker Carlson might run.
I mean, that's a possibility, but it's not guaranteed, of course. It's not certain, but he might. I don't know. He might. I don't know.
I already talked about it. As you're saying, hey,
you go, Tim.
No, you go.
I personally don't think he will. I think he's got a too cushy a job at Fox News to risk damaging his reputation and his career by running for president.
You have a point, but I mean, if he did run, he would actually be a serious contender because he's well known and he appeals to the base with non-interventionism and an economic policy that benefits the working class, the GOP working class. So usually they're going to support someone like Trump, and he's like closest to Trump as well. So he might have a chance if he runs. I'm not saying he will. He might not because of
he could be, if he does, he would definitely be a dark horse candidate, one that could get a lot of votes. But I just don't see him doing it. I don't see him taking the risk. He's got a too cushy a job at Fox News.
Yeah,
and he's
that's
got
true.
his spreading his hateful propaganda to millions of people that way.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we'll see what happens if he runs or not. Like, I don't know. He's an option, but like to run, but we're not sure yet. We'll see. Yeah.
So now, I guess we talk about the Democratic candidates now.
Yep.
And of course, you gotta mention
Nina Turner.
Nina Turner. Yeah.
And of course, we gotta still mention him too, even though we have no idea Biden can run again. So we have to take that consideration.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even, like I said,
Harris.
even if he does run, we still got primary him regardless. We cannot let him get a second
Harris.
term without some sort of fight.
I can see Harris being like, you know what, Biden, you're getting a bit old. Let me take over.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if that happens too.
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
would say that.
And hopefully her ass will get crushed like it was in 2020.
Yeah. Yep, she was smoked by Warren, if I remember correctly.
And Tulsi.
Yes, and Tulsi too, yes. Tulsi Gabbard did that as well.
And then what were you saying?
Wait, Timbo, I just want to say that, like Kyle made a video a few months ago about which Democrats are going to run in 2024, assuming Biden doesn't run for re-election. Like unfortunately, most options he mentioned were corporate Democrats, like like Andrew Cuomo or Kamala Harris or Michael Benno. You know, people who ran in the past are going to run again probably.
I think I saw Buttigieg on that list as well.
And
He might run again.
I think
I'll give you one for a left field one, even if she hasn't been in very long. AOC.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I know. I was gonna say, like, when it comes to like progressive options, you definitely have Nina Turner, AOC, or maybe someone else.
And then also, even though we have no idea, hopefully maybe Bernie will give it another try.
Yeah, you can give it a third shot.
He could, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no, yeah. Assuming he's still alive and Biden doesn't run again, he could run again if he wanted to. Like, but even if he doesn't, that's fine because he's old AF as well. But obviously, I would want like either Nina Turner or AOC to run because I want a progressive option, like to obviously.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's hope. Because unfortunately, we're gonna have many corporate Democrats as options. So hopefully, Nina Turner actually announces that she's running in 2024 because that would be awesome. Like as I've said, she'd be the best person to carry on Bernie's progressive torch. So yeah, like I hope she runs.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
And she can actually appeal to the people that we need, which unfortunately AOC turns off massively.
Yeah. Wait, Timbo. Why do you say that the squad is hated though? Like in swing states, are you already polling that? Like,
Racism is part of it.
well, no shit, racism.
Especially in the case of Omar and Talib.
I was saying
almost certainly put you the name.
because the reason I say AOC is so hated because she usually panders to she is sometimes like an SJW, panders a lot to like social issues, and you know how much the right hates that so much. Bernie on the other hand, he doesn't pander that much, even though he agrees with AOC. He focuses more on the economic issues, and that's why he's liked. And yeah, I'm sure. And yeah, I'm sure too. Race has a factor. Yeah, Nina is just not hated like AOC is in those places.
But Nina is also a black woman, so they wouldn't like her for her race either because the race is
but like I said earlier, a lot of times they'll just ignore that for the economic issues. But when you pander all the time like AOC does, that's like too much for them to ignore, basically.
Also, a lot of the quite a few of the racist types, they're TFG for other reasons.
Yeah.
Timbo, I agree. Like you should never pander to us on social issues.
Well, you should pander, just not like overtly, like every single second of the damn day, like she does.
No, I agree. But like my point is, let's say I was running for office or president, like I would only talk about social issues and economic issues. And if someone asked me like, what's my opinion on abortion or gay marriage, then I would give my opinion. But my point is, you should only talk about economic issues so you can like get conservative voters as well. You know, so.
I would talk about.
Let me get my point.
I would talk about everything, but I just wouldn't focus so much on social issues like she does.
Same here. But my point is, you gotta talk only about economic issues. And let's say on your website you can write.
I would talk about everything, but I would focus more on the economic issues. I'm not gonna not talk about social issues at all, but just focus on the economic ones more.
No, yeah. Assuming you're asked, you could talk about social issues as well, like, but obviously mostly the economic issues like Medicare for all, free college, living wage, etc. Those are more important. So yeah.
Yep. So anything else you want to talk about on this topic?
I don't think so. I think we covered all our bases.
Harry?
I think we covered everything.
All right, so we've been filming now for over an hour. I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Unless you all want something else to talk about before we leave.
I'm sorry?
Do you maybe want to talk about something else, or do you want to get going? Because I know it's midnight for you now.
Yeah, I think we gotta get going. I gotta go get breakfast.
All right, so I guess we'll wrap it up here. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. See you guys maybe in 2 weeks, because that's been the trend like now every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So see you guys later in February then.